Following this consideration by the National Assembly, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, approved 1.6 billion naira for immediate release as intervention to states ravaged by flood across the country. The funds are to be used by the National Emergency Management Agency to help cushion the effect of the disaster in the affected states. However, I'm sure you agree that a lot still needs to be done to ensure that this problem does not resurface next year. Let's move on now to our next report. The House of Representatives has questioned the legality of the approval given by the Federal Executive Council for the privatization and commercialization of some public enterprises. Following a motion sponsored by Representative Mark Bila and 2 other members, the House observed that the Federal Executive Council had, in violation of the Public Enterprises Privatisation and Commercialization Act 1999, approved the concession of the Nigerian Railway Corporation narrow gauge lines and some airports in the country. According to the Act, the appropriate body empowered to approve such transactions is the National Council on Privatization. The House Committee on Privatization and Commercialization has been mandated to investigate the matter.
The House is aware that in the absence of a formally constituted and inaugurated National Council of Privatization, the Federal Executive Council, in violation of the provisions of Section 2 of the Public Enterprises Privatization and Commercialization Act 1999, approved the concession of the Nigerian Railway Corporation narrow gauge lines to GE of United States of America, and also the concession of 4 national airports, namely Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, and the Port Harcourt International Airport. The House is concerned that non-adherence to provisions of the Act of Parliament by the Federal Executive Council is tantamount to executive lawlessness and impunity, and the continued approvals for the concession of public enterprises in violation of Section 2 of the Public Enterprises Privatization and Commercialization Act 1999, if not checked, will result in the loss of investors' confidence in the federal government's privatization program and encourage corruption and lack of transparency.
Meanwhile, an ad hoc committee of the Senate conducted an investigative hearing probing allegations that the federal government had completed plans to concession the Port Harcourt refinery to Ajip ENI and Oando PLC without following due process.
Those in charge, first, BP out of the blue would not write to the Honorable Minister requesting that is there such a thing. ICRC will not, out of the blue, just like that, wake up one day and write if there are no pointers to that. Like I said, revamping, maintenance, concession, whatever name you call them, these are national treasures that individuals, organizations, people are really concerned about. Of course, nobody here will not support what you're doing in trying to revamp those refineries. But what is being said is that it's not going to be no longer this inside in the hidden box and try to do things in a manner that is not transparent.
Minister of State Petroleum denied plans by the federal government to concession or outrightly sell the Port Harcourt refinery or any other refinery in Nigeria.
There is no planned concession. There was no concession embarked on. None has been decided upon. None is even in the works. And so, for me, I do not know where that information is coming from.
It is the responsibility of a company like NNPC, and indeed the responsibility of my portfolio, to ensure that assets are properly managed on behalf of the federal government. And so, as part of that process, we invited anybody who had the potential to give us funding, rather than go to government on the budgetary process to look for money, to give us money on a somehow financing scheme, as it were, to enable us to repair the refinery and then pay back that facility from the incremental volume that will arise from that repair. Because if I move from 30 to 100%, the presumption is that I have a cash flow to enable me service the debt. That's what we've done.
Major players in the sector all claim that there is no arrangement whatsoever to sell or concession the refinery as alleged.
We are not aware of any concession, sale, equity transfer, or privatization efforts of the Port Harcourt refinery.